The British Museum, founded in 1753, stands as one of the world's greatest repositories, housing a significant number of African artifacts. Among its extensive collections, the estimated 200,000 objects hold a unique and controversial place, showcasing the richness and diversity of African civilizations, while also highlighting the complex and often troubling history of colonialism and cultural acquisition. This story will delve into some of the most notable African treasures in the British Museum, exploring their origins, cultural significance, and the pathways that led them to London. 1. The Benin Bronzes. One of the most famous collections of African art in the British Museum is the Benin Bronzes. These exquisite plaques and sculptures, created by the Edo people of the Kingdom of Benin, located in modern-day Nigeria, dating back to at least the 13th century. The Kingdom of Benin was a powerful and wealthy state, known for its advanced art, governance, and military might. The Benin Bronzes were used to adorn the royal palace in Benin City, serving both as decoration and as historical records. The kingdom's art was highly valued, with techniques passed down through generations of skilled artisans. In 1897, British forces launched an expedition against Benin City. The city was sacked, and thousands of artifacts, including the Benin Bronzes, were looted and subsequently distributed to various institutions and private collectors around the world. The British Museum acquired a significant portion of these bronzes, where they have been displayed since. 2. The Egyptian mummies. The British Museum is renowned for its extensive collection of Egyptian mummies and funerary artifacts. These items provide invaluable insights into the beliefs, practices, and daily lives of ancient Egyptians. Mummification was a central practice in ancient Egyptian religion, reflecting their beliefs in the afterlife. The elaborate process of preserving bodies was reserved for those who could afford it, primarily pharaohs, nobles, and wealthy individuals. Tombs were filled with objects intended to assist the deceased in the afterlife, including jewelry, amulets, and everyday items. The museum's Egyptian collection grew significantly during the 19th century, a period marked by heightened European interest in Egyptology. Many artifacts were acquired through excavations, donations, and purchases. Notably, several mummies and tomb items came from the collections of Giovanni Belzoni and other early archaeologists. 3. The Akan gold weights. The Akan people of West Africa, particularly in present-day Ghana, are known for their intricate gold weights. These small decorative objects were used to measure gold dust, which was a common currency in the region. The Akan gold weights reflect the sophisticated trade systems and artistic traditions of the Akan states. Each weight was carefully crafted, often depicting animals, human figures, and geometric patterns, and they served both practical and symbolic purposes. Many of the Akan gold weights in the British Museum were acquired during the 19th and early 20th centuries, a period marked by British colonial expansion in West Africa. Some were looted during military campaigns, while others were obtained through trade and theft. 4. The Ife Bronzes. The Ife Bronzes, including remarkable heads and sculptures, originate from the ancient Yoruba city of Ife in Nigeria. These artifacts are celebrated for their naturalistic style and technical sophistication. Ife was a major religious and cultural center in the Yoruba civilization, flourishing between the 12th and 15th centuries. The bronze sculptures from Ife are noted for their realistic depictions of human features, which were unparalleled in African art at the time. The Ife bronzes entered the British Museum's collection primarily through archaeological expeditions and purchases in the early 20th century. These artifacts were part of broader efforts to document and preserve African cultural heritage. 5. The Asante regalia. The Asante people of Ghana are known for their rich tradition of regalia, including ceremonial swords, stools, and gold jewelry. These items are symbols of power and authority, used in various royal and religious ceremonies. The Asante Kingdom, established in the 17th century, was one of West Africa's most powerful states. The kingdom's regalia played a crucial role in its governance and religious practices, symbolizing the Asante king's divine right to rule. Many Asante artifacts were acquired during the British colonial period, particularly following the Anglo-Asante Wars. The defeat of the Asante in the late 19th century led to the looting of royal treasures, many of which ended up in European museums. It is important to know that the current Asante king is negotiating for the Asante artifacts to be returned to the kingdom. 6. The Luba masks. The Luba people of the Democratic Republic of Congo are renowned for their intricately carved wooden masks and figures. These artifacts are used in various rituals and ceremonies, often associated with the royal court and secret societies. The Luba kingdom, which reached its height in the 18th and 19th centuries, had a complex political and social structure. Masks and figures played a central role in Luba culture, representing ancestral spirits and serving as mediators between the physical and spiritual worlds. Luba artifacts were collected by European explorers, missionaries, and colonial administrators in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Many were acquired through purchase or as gifts, reflecting the growing European fascination with African art and culture. 7. The Nok terracotta figures. The Nok culture, which flourished in Nigeria between 1000 BC and 300 AD, is known for its distinctive terracotta sculptures. These figures, often depicting humans and animals, are among the earliest examples of African sculpture. The Nok culture is considered one of West Africa's earliest complex societies. Its terracotta figures are notable for their expressive features and intricate details, providing insights into the society's social and religious practices. Nok terracotta figures were discovered by accident in the early 20th century during tin mining operations. Subsequent archaeological excavations uncovered more artifacts, many of which were acquired by the British Museum through purchases and donations. 8. The Great Zimbabwe Bird. The Great Zimbabwe Bird is a series of soapstone carvings from the ancient city of Great Zimbabwe, which was the capital of the Kingdom of Zimbabwe during the Late Iron Age. These carvings are among the most iconic symbols of the Zimbabwean state. Great Zimbabwe, which flourished between the 11th and 15th centuries, was a major trading center and political hub. The bird carvings, believed to represent royal or ancestral symbols, were placed atop stone monoliths within the city's central enclosure. The British Museum acquired some of the Great Zimbabwe birds in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a period of intense archaeological interest in the ruins. 9. The Mdala Treasures. The Mdala Treasures are a collection of Ethiopian artifacts seized by British forces in 1868 following the Battle of Mdala. These include manuscripts, religious icons, and ceremonial items. The Battle of Mdala was part of a British military expedition against Emperor Tewodros II of Ethiopia. After the defeat of Tewodros, British forces looted the emperor's fortress, taking many valuable artifacts back to Britain. The Mdala treasures were brought to Britain as war trophies and eventually found their way into the British Museum and other institutions. 10. The Shona Sculpture. The Shona people of Zimbabwe are renowned for their stone sculptures, particularly those created in the 20th century as part of the Shona art movement. These works, often depicting human and animal forms, are celebrated for their creativity and craftsmanship. Shona sculpture draws on a long tradition of stone carving in Zimbabwe, with influences from both ancient and contemporary sources. The British Museum's collection of Shona sculptures includes works acquired through purchases and donations. These pieces reflect the museum's efforts to represent both historical and contemporary African art. The treasures in the British Museum showcase the rich and diverse cultures of the African continent. Even though their acquisition is ethically debatable, it also shows the might and wealth of the African continent before colonization. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more historical adventures and exciting stories.